truth.
Welcome back, guys, to another Clash Royale video. Today we're taking a look at this Pekka double print strategy, and as you can see, this is the deck I've been using. Now, one thing I do want to point out about this deck is that I don't actually have an elixir pump in it, and that's simply because of the average elixir cost only being 3.5. I figured it was low enough that I could probably get away with not having a pump in the deck, but if you guys wanted to use a pump in this deck here, I would suggest switching out the Ice Spirit. Now, I do have both the Princess as well as the Ice Wizard in this deck, and I will be honest with you guys, it's pretty hard building an effective Pekka double print strategy without one or both of these legendaries in the deck, just because they both offer insane strategic value to a battle, and they only have a 3 elixir cost each, which really helps bring the average elixir cost down and helps you afford such an expensive deck without having the elixir pump in it. But let's go ahead here, take a look at a couple of replays in a recent tournament that I'm participating in. So here we are in the first tournament battle, facing off against Martin in the clan Texas. Now, like I said before, I don't have the elixir pump in this deck, and that actually changes up the playstyle a whole lot, because with an elixir pump, you want to focus on defending and getting as many pumps as you can down until later on in the double elixir period, and that's when you start going on the offensive. But with this deck here, you can cycle through your cards fairly fast with the low elixir cost of the Princess, the Ice Wizard, the Ice Spirit, as well as the Cannon, and then you can set up some pretty strong pushes throughout any time of the battle. So I'm going to go ahead here and start doing a push on the right hand side with my Pekka. Now, one thing I do want to point out with this deck here is both my Prince as well as the Dark Prince are only level 2, which is extremely low level in the ladder, so I can make it work in the tournaments, but a level 2 epic is balanced against a level 5 rare and level 7 commons, I believe, which is pretty underpowered in the ladder system, facing off against level 11 commons and level 8 rares and stuff like that. So I can make it work, like I said, in the tournament battles, because everything is capped at tournament standards, but I want to recommend that if you want to try this out in a ladder battle and you are in Legendary Arena, you probably should have all your princes up to at least level 4, because a level 4 epic is balanced against level 9 commons and level 7 rares. But like I said, these level 2 epics are kind of underpowered for the ladder system, but I do manage to make them work in tournaments, and I do have upgrades available for both my princes to get them to level 3, but I want to save all of my gold up for the level 11 upgrade for my Zaspel, because pretty much everyone that I face right now has goblins that I can't one-shot with those Zap spells, so I'm saving all of my gold for that 20,000 gold upgrade cost. Now, he's coming in here on the left-hand side with the Hog Rider, and he does also have the free spell available, and the great thing with that is even though he does some damage to my tower, he spent 4 elixir on that Hog Rider and 4 elixir on the free spell, but all the elixir that I spent is still on the battlefield, so I have a pretty strong counter push going on with the Dark Prince on the left-hand side, the Pekka on the right-hand side, and my opponent has no elixir left to defend, so the Pekka making his way to the tower, getting a couple hits off, giving me the 1 crown lead so far, and the Dark Prince was also able to do some decent damage to that tower on the left-hand side. That's kind of how you have to play this strategy, is sometimes you just have to soak up a ton of damage to your tower and then set up an overwhelming push. And that's one thing I noticed in the past, even playing against people that are using the Pekka double print strategy, is sometimes the first half of the battle, I'll feel like I'm actually winning the battle because I'm getting my Hog Riders to the tower, I'm doing some decent damage to the tower, but then in the double elixir period, they just set up some overwhelming pushes and I can't keep defending all those strong units. And sometimes that's just the way you have to play this strategy, is trade off that health in your tower for an elixir advantage, and then set up an overwhelming push that your opponent just can't defend. Now, you just saw that happen right here. My opponent did take out my tower, but he spent a ton of elixir in the process, and all the elixir that I spent defending is pretty much still alive on the field. So I'm setting up a pretty strong counter push right here, and my opponent is trying desperately to defend, but eventually I'm going to overwhelm him and go in there and take out the tower. So Pekka going in there, distracted by the Witch. Unfortunately, he has another Prince going, Witch going down, distracted by Pekka, but the Dark Prince does make it to the tower. I've got 2 princesses there, getting a couple shots off, finishing out that tower, giving me the 2 crown victory. Let's go ahead here to the next replay. So here we are facing off against Jacob in the clan Texas, and I actually have a fairly decent starting hand here with the Princess as well as the Ice Wizard, and I also have the Zaspel as my next card, so I could do an early Princess drop at the bridge, try and get some chip damage into the tower, and then have that Zaspel available if my opponent drops down goblins, but he ends up dropping on the midi Pekka on the left-hand lane, so I'm going to defend against it with the Ice Wizard as well as the Ice Spirit, and this is one of the reasons I love the Ice Spirit. For only 1 elixir cost, it offers so much versatility to a battle. It can actually give you some pretty strong elixir advantages, so if you guys don't use the Ice Spirit, I highly suggest you do if you have it. Now, I have a pretty strong counter push going on here with the Prince up front, the Ice Wizard as well as the Princess in the back, but unfortunately, my Prince is only level 2, so he does die fairly quickly. If that Prince was at tournament standard being level 4, he probably would have made it to the tower, getting at least one shot off, doing some decent damage for me, but unfortunately that just isn't the case yet. I don't have that level 4 Prince. So Musketeer coming in here, going to defend against it with an Ice Wizard as well as the Ice Spirit combo, and then once again start setting up a counter push. Now my opponent doesn't have any elixir left to defend, so the Dark Prince will be able to make it to the tower, doing some good damage for me, bringing that tower down to 1500 health and giving me the damage lead in this battle. Now when you're using a Pekka double Prince strategy, there's a couple different ways you can set up a push. One of them is using a slow push on one lane with the Pekka backed up by a Princess as well as an Ice Wizard, and the Princess actually provides the range support, taking out all the distraction units that normally slow down a Pekka, and then doing a counter push on the opposite lane with a double Prince drop, and that way you put on immediate strong pressure on both lanes, and usually your opponent can't defend both lanes at the same time, and you'll get some decent damage done to at least one of the towers. The other way to push is if your opponent is setting up a strong push on one lane with a Royal Giant or a Giant strategy, use the Pekka on the exact same lane, because the Pekka is an excellent Giant counter, especially to like Giant bowler decks, because the Pekka doesn't get knocked back, and that way not only do you kill all their offensive troops, but you also are able to set up a pretty strong counter push. Now right here, Pekka making her way to the tower, getting 2 hits off, giving me the 1 crown lead, and with 58 seconds left in this battle, and both of my towers still pretty much full health. All I really have to do is just keep defending and keep the pressure on, and I hopefully will be able to hold up for the 1 crown victory. So Pekka going up here on the right hand side, we're going to start doing a pretty strong push on the right hand lane with the Pekka as well as both Princes, and I'm going all in here on the right hand side with both Princes in the back, as well as the Princess and eventually the Ice Wizard as well. And I'm not really intending to take out that tower on the right hand side. All I want to do is just keep the pressure on and force my opponent into a defensive position, and that way I'll be able to hold out for the 1 crown victory. Now unfortunately, having both of my Princes being level 2 does mean they die pretty fast, and I wasn't able to make it to the tower, but like I said, I wasn't really intending to finish off that tower on the right hand side. All I want to do is just keep my opponent spending all of his elixir on defense. He tries to sneak in a Hog Rider on the left hand side, but I do have the cannon available to distract it, and here we are guys with only 9 seconds left, gonna eventually get the 1 crown victory, just dropping on the Pekka on the left hand side there just for fun, because I know I have the 1 crown victory. Let's go ahead here and try and do a live tournament battle. So here we are guys, facing off against Upgrade from the clan Texas, and let's see, give him the all good luck here, and let's see what we can make happen. Do a slow push with one of these Princes off the start here, depending on what he does. He drops down the Musketeer, so let's go ahead and use our Prince to hopefully counter with maybe an Ice Spirit for support, and the Princess as well. Now the Ice Spirit should be able to take out all of those. Nope. So let's zap that, save the Prince from those Musketeers, or from those minions, sorry. Now the reason the Ice Spirit died is because the Ice Spirit I think is under-leveled. I could be wrong on that though. Maybe the Ice Spirit does die in one shot to a Musketeer. But Princess doing damage there, and thankfully he was forced to use that Fireball, which means that was a 1 elixir loss for him. So not too bad of a start so far. Start doing a slow push here with the Pekka on the right hand side, and like I said before, that's one of the benefits of not having the pump in this deck, is you can just play offensively throughout the entire battle. You don't have to wait for the double elixir period, and you don't have to wait to have all of those pumps down. So let's start doing this with this, and I want to use the Princess in the back because he does have minions. So let's go ahead and use that with an Ice Spirit here, and let's go ahead and zap all of this. Can we? Zap that. There we go. Pekka getting a 1 shot off. Thank you, Pekka. The Dark Prince should still survive. No. If that Dark Prince was level 2 or 4, he would actually make it to the tower. But look at that Princess Ice Wizard combo just doing work to that tower. Those legendaries are pretty dirty. And let's go ahead and use this. Probably wasn't necessary though. Probably was a waste of 3 elixir. But I just wanted to save the Ice Wizard so the Ice Wizard can go on and kill all those Spirit Goblins. And both of my towers still pretty much 100% full health. If there's a Princess here with an Ice Spirit for support, maybe we can finish off that tower. There we go. Oh, 1 hit off by the Princess, forcing a Fireball. Definitely not too bad, given that his tower only has 115 health left. So, let's start pushing this lane with a Pekka, and just keep the pressure on, and maybe even get a 3 crown victory. Now, I really wish that in tournaments, the crowns counted towards your crown chest. I think that would be super awesome, and kind of make it more rewarding doing like an hour-long tournament, because sometimes doing an hour-long tournament, or even 2 hours, just kind of feels like a grind after a while. Even though you do get gold from your wins, I think having those crown count towards a crown chest would be an extra benefit. So he misses the Fireball on my Princess, which is pretty good. Let's start doing another Pekka drop right here. Like I said before, the Pekka is an excellent counter to Giant strategies. Go ahead and use a Ice Spirit right here. Freeze that Musketeer. Zap all of this. Actually, that zap was probably unnecessary. And let's go ahead and use... We don't really need to use anything here. Let's just play defensively. There we go. Getting the victory. Hit him up with a good game. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.